What's crackling codelets? In this video I'm going to show you how to install MongoDB on your GourmIDE. So in a previous video I showed you how to set up MongoDB Atlas. I also have another video for those of you that want to set up MySQL. In this video, like I said, MongoDB, we're going to set it up locally within Gorm. Alright, so I'm going to close this little share link thing. And basically it's really simple. You just go to the actual MongoDB documentation for installing whatever version you want. In this case I'm going to use current 4.0. You could do 4.2 if you want, but that's like unstable at the moment or whatever. So the current version is 4.0 at the time of the recording of this video, and you can go to this link. I'll put it in the description. Basically, start at step 1 and you import the public key used by the package management system. If you want to look into what each of these steps do, you can read the stuff here, you can Google this stuff. That's not what this video is about. I'm just showing you where the commands are, how to get them, put them in, and how to get MongoDB installed. So we're going to copy this line right here with this copy button and then head over to Gorm, and down inside of our terminal you can just paste it in. Command V for Mac, it's probably like Control V for PC, might be Control Shift V if you have difficulty getting it to work that way, or just use Edit to find paste wherever it is. You might just have to right click. In any event, yeah, there we go, right click, paste. Alright, so hit enter. It should just go to the next line. It might take a second. Okay, great. So it did give us some feedback here. The important thing is that it went to the next line and I'm not seeing any errors or anything like that. So going back over to MongoDB, we go to step number 2, create a list file for MongoDB. It's going to tell you where it's going to create it and then which version. So it has 18.04 selected by default, or for me anyway. You might already have it on Ubuntu 14.04 Trusty. This is the one you want. So go ahead and make sure that you select this one, Ubuntu 14.04. That's what Gorm uses. So once you click that, then you can click copy below it and you'll have the correct command. Head back over here, paste it in, hit enter. Now it just goes directly to the next line and we can move on to step number 3. So scroll down here. This is a simple command, sudo apt-get update. So this is the package manager for Linux, and it allows us to really easily install packages like MongoDB. But first we want to make sure that other packages are up to date because they could potentially be dependencies and whatnot. So we paste this command in, sudo apt-get update, hit enter. This could take anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute or two, so let's just give it a moment, and when it finishes we'll come back and move on to step number 4. Okay, great, that part's done. Let's go back over to the tab for MongoDB documentation. Now within step number 4, you have the option to install a specific version or install the latest version. We'll go ahead and install the latest version. To get the latest stable version, you're going to use this command right here. So you can go ahead and click on copy, head back over to Gorm, paste it in, and let it run. So now that it's finished, I just want to scroll back up and highlight some messages that occurred while we were installing. So somewhere along the way we get a couple little warnings here, and you can really ignore these. It's not a big deal. So if you're taking Colt's course or you're taking my course, then we're just setting this up for development purposes. If you were installing this on a server, that would be a different story, but we can use a service like MongoDB Atlas and let them handle all the security sides of a production database. So for this purpose, you can ignore those little warnings. Now down here at the bottom, it does tell us that it has an unknown init script. It can't find this MongoDB file. So we're going to create this manually. Right now we're inside of this MongoDB test folder inside of our workspace directory. And so this is probably a good place to store the data directory and then also the MongoDB init script. Let's go ahead and create the data directory. We can do that now with the mkdir, that's make dir, and then data command. And so it's going to create this directory called data, however you want to pronounce it. And this is where it's going to store all the MongoDB databases. Now we want another file that's going to actually allow us to run MongoDaemon with a couple of extra little things in there. So typically what we could do is just say mongod -- no journal, and then it would start up and it'd be fine. But if you want it to be even shorter than that without having to type in the extra flag, then we can do echo, and then inside of quotes we'll do mongod -- no journal space -- db - path, path with an A, is equal to data. And so it's going to look at that data directory that's inside the same directory where we're creating this file, and then put the greater than sign. That's going to echo this information into a file, And so we'll put it into a file called MongoD. And now we'll do a sudo chmod. This is just going to change the permissions for this file. a+x MongoD, and hit enter. And now if we ls, we can see we have MongoD right here, and we have data directory. And now if we do a ./MongoD from within this directory, the same directory that has that file, MongoD, that we just created, this is our init script. If we run it from this directory, then it's going to start up the Mongo daemon, which is essentially the Mongo server. So hit enter, and it did not run. It actually has an error, and that's because I have a typo in my DB path. It's actually supposed to be --db path, all one word, is equal to data. So we can fix that really easily. Just press your up arrow until you get to that command that we created, this one right here, and then use your left arrow until you get to the P in db path. Get rid of that hyphen between db and path. It should now look like this right here. Hit enter. That's going to overwrite that file. You can even check it if you want with the cat command, and it'll print out the contents of that file right here. And now if we try to run it again with that ./MongoD command, there it is. Mongo daemon's up and running. You're going to want to leave this running in this terminal, and then we'll open a new terminal that we can open up the Mongo shell with, and that's going to be where you're actually going to run queries, create databases, and create collections and documents within them. So over up here at the top, we have window, new terminal window, and this creates a new terminal here. And we can open up the Mongo shell just by typing Mongo and hitting enter. And so now we're inside of the Mongo shell. Again, it may say some stuff right here, like warnings and whatnot. For development purposes, you can ignore all that stuff. So down here where we have this greater than sign, this basically is our cursor for typing stuff inside of the Mongo shell. So you can use commands like show DBs, that'll show your databases, and then you can create a database, you can use a database, and you can do all the commands that Colt Steele is going to show you in the Web Developer Bootcamp, and then commands that I also show you how to do in my Code No course. So that's it for setting up Mongo inside of GourmIDE. Just to review, if you want to start up the Mongo daemon, make sure that you're in the directory where you have that MongoD file, and that file is pointing towards a script that has a command that has a couple extra little options for the MongoD command. So like I said, normally you can just run MongoD by itself, that's fine, but we have a couple extra commands that save space inside of Gorm, and so we've put them inside that init script. So instead of using the MongoD command, we use ./MongoD from within the directory where that init script lives. So once we do that and we hit enter, it starts it up. It'll tell you waiting for connections on port 27017. That's a good thing. And now over here in a new terminal, you can open up the Mongo shell. This is where you can actually interact with your Mongo databases. And that's it. If you want to exit the shell, just type exit and hit enter. And if you want to turn off this Mongo daemon, just do Control-C to shut it down, and you're good to go. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks a lot.